We know we've got a resource already, and we also know that the ultimate size of the resource is going to grow over time. It's just a matter of drilling and how much of the project is mineralized above a certain cutoff.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Critical Mineral Resources CEO Charlie Long. Charlie, very good to speak with you again. Let's start with the drilling. What do these latest results tell you about the potential at Agadir Melloul?
So, in the areas that we drilled, or where these drill results come from, they just tell us that the mineralized system continues in those directions. I think one or two holes were infill holes, I think the most important thing is that just the system is there. The grades aren't great, but to be honest, there's lots of variability, even within a good ore body. So it just expands the size of the resource. I think that's probably the most important thing. The other thing I would say, because I know people question grades, but there's most of our holes we hit nothing. Like this is an exploration project. We're chasing outcropping mineralization. When we drill down dip, quite often the mineralization isn't there. There's lots of theories for why, but we obviously don't put out lots of completely barren holes in our drill results. But the important thing is that we are piecing together a continuous and mineable resource and patches of resource, which are large size. And as I said, I think in the announcement this morning, we have from our internal resource, which is a high quality resource, approximately 25,000 tons of copper. So we're not worried about less good holes. We're not worried about barren holes. We know that we'll find good stuff, and just some holes are better than others.
You've said the project's moving from exploration into development. What does that actually look like on the ground, Charlie, and how different is the business now compared to 6 months ago?
So there's a bunch of things that we can do on the development front before the resource. Or having said that, because we have our internal resource, the reserve mining reservers, the mining engineers that are going to create the reserves out of the resources, they are asking me for our internal resource, and we haven't decided yet whether we just wait for the JORC resource, which will probably be very similar, or whether we send over our resource and get them going. But basically, until you've got the resource, you can't do the mine scheduling and the mine planning. But we're actually, because we've got a resource, we could be doing that now. What is happening already is more metallurgy work. So we've done metallurgy work already. We'll do a little bit more lab work. And then we can, standard practice in Morocco, there's a pilot plant that can be rented, and we do put a pilot sort of level tonnage through the pilot plant, and then the flow sheet, which is exactly how the rock is going to be turned into a copper product, will be designed. So that work has started. So that's development work, not exploration work. Our the consultants that are doing that are AfriLab, based out of Marrakesh. They've also been to site, and that they've chosen where the processing plant is going to be located. They're still mulling over the best location for the tailings. And the EPCM contractor is also engaged in that work. So then I guess one of the other things is the water consultant, who deals with sort of water runoff, water recycling, and sourcing water. So all of that stuff can be done and is being done without the resources, but the mine scheduling and the mine planning can't be done until you've got your block model, and a block model that's built in the right way for the mining engineers. But they're still keen to start working on on our internal model, but we're just sort of holding off on that for the time being. So there's lots of stuff that is happening and that can happen that isn't exploration related, and is development related.
I mean, there's a lot coming up over the next few months, including that maiden JORC resource and also feasibility work. Which of those milestones do you think will be the biggest step forward for the project, Charlie?
Well, I guess because we know we've got a resource already, and we also know that the ultimate size of the resource is going to grow over time. It's just a matter of drilling and how much of the project is mineralized above a certain cutoff. Um, so the JORC, the maiden resource, the maiden JORC resource, when it comes out, won't be massive for us, but it will be very important for some investors. So, there's a lot of institutions out there, specialist mining funds and other sort of development banks that need JORC resources or 43101. So it's very, very important for that reason. But I guess internally we kind of know what we got and we know where we can go. So it's horses for courses, I suppose.
Well, Charlie, I hope you continue to keep us updated with your progress. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
That's Charlie Long, the CEO of Critical Mineral Resources.